Welcome, this is Youth of Purpose. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. You are watching U24 Television, your national youth development and education channel. We give you a platform to be able to contribute to Uganda becoming better, put a brick in making sure that in the few years to come, you will be able to say Uganda is because you are. As young people, we are the biggest percentage of our population, and therefore everything you do on a daily basis should be adding on making Uganda better, not worse. And today we are discussing something very pertinent, most especially for the season that we are in: meaningful youth participation in politics. When we talk about politics as young people, what comes into your mind, and how actually are you making sure that you're not left behind in making sure that we define the politics of this nation? Tonight with me, from my immediate left, as we say ladies first, Council Brenda Oriku. Welcome to Youth of Purpose. Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Hello viewers, it's an honor to be here this evening. And thank you for inviting us and having us here.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And next to Brenda is Ndugu Chris. Welcome to Youth of Purpose.
Oh, thank you, my brother. Good evening, viewers. It's nice to be here. Thank you for this show, the Youth of Purpose. It is a program really that is calling upon all young people to add a brick to making Uganda better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Chambogo said we cannot be left behind. A representative right here. Ndugu, kindly say hello to the viewer.
Hello, dear listeners. I'm Nicholas Tumshave from Chambogo University, here for the topic of our today's discussion, which is Youth of Purpose, that looks more at shaping with the youth towards the main objectives. That's why we are concerned as the true participants of these incoming elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas, and thank you, team, for making sure that you spare time to come and we speak to the nation in regards to the politics of our country, which at most times, as young people, we're not looked at as people that are going to really give attention to the politics of the nation, what is happening. And today, we want to be able to demystify that and actually encourage you more to make sure that you get into this sphere of ensuring the development of our nation in terms of the politics. Chris, to start with you. Politics in youth perspective, what are we talking about?
Thank you, my brother. I think politics, in putting it in a perspective of young people and youth, we are basically talking about your civic right to move out and exercise that right that the Constitution gives you, as long as you make it to 18 years plus, to be able to elect leaders that can represent you. And the moment you cast that one vote that you have, you release part of your rights as a citizen to the leader that you have sent to air out to represent you. For every 5 years, we get leaders that represent our views, that we send and represent us for the betterment of this country that we all live in. When we look at the participation of the youth, we are talking about their involvement in the electoral process as candidates. Now that we have many, majority of our population being youth, we are looking at having young people themselves taking on the lead and participate right from the village level. As they have the youth structures. From the village we go to the parishes, their structures, sub-counties, up to the district level. These structures have given, this government has created these structures where youth are involved in the process right from the village level. They have representation from the village up to the district, and from the districts to the national. That's why we have MPs representing the various regions of this country. We have the National Youth Council, where youth, our ideas as the youth are digested to fit into the national outlook. And we look also at the perspective of ensuring there is peace and harmony during this process as we move out to get people to air out our views on our behalf. So basically the period is about yourself engaged in the process, and you get the outcome that you really desire to see.
Thank you so much, Ndogo Chris. Politics right now, we're trying to appreciate, and we want to be appreciative of the government for having encouraged and given opportunities to more women to participate in the politics of this country. As a youth, and most importantly, being female, what does it mean as a young person when we talk about the politics of this country? Brenda.
Thank you so much, Ivan. And as you stated, we must applaud the current government for giving opportunities and space for women to engage in active politics. And as we all know, for women MPs, they have that space that is unique to them, and it is for them to take it up, to stand and to contest competitively, to be able to become leaders in this country. So for me, it's just my observation is that as women, we have really taken the mantle. We see that right from the village levels, as Chris stated earlier, you see that there is representation of women from the local government up to parliament. Unfortunately, I think I was disappointed that this time round, Ivan, we don't have a female presidential candidate.
That's very sad.
Very, very sad. I have a friend, I hope she's watching, who was vying for the position, but unfortunately she was not credited. So that remains a gap. At least in the previous elections, even though they were not successful, we saw that women came up and they were on the same ballot paper when it came to the presidential election. So next time maybe I can also
go represent us. We want to fully see, like we're talking about meaningful participation.
Yes.
Let's see a young person coming out, not in a comic way. We saw some young people that were trying, but every time we've seen a youth come in to participate, it looked at to be comedy. We saw what was happening with former aspirant Katumba,
yes.
And then there was another young person who was trying this time around, but unfortunately he wasn't nominated. But the way they come to participate, you see that they are not really taking it serious, and that leaves a lot to be desired for us as young people, that will not be taken serious. And I think that also defines the fact that we are not even that sounding when it comes to National Youth Council, when it comes to making of these policies for the government. And it's not really well when you're planning for 78% of the population and you don't have fully their mandate in terms of making those policies. Nicholas, from a student perspective, away from the elections that you have at university to get your guild presidents and your ministers, how are you making sure that as young people you fully participate and have that meaningful participation in the politics of the nation?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ivan. To talk about that, I will categorize that in two categories. One, co-optedness of the voters. Another category, it's apathetic of the voters. Going back to the co-optedness, this is where the intended candidate wants to use the voters for in accordance with adversarial gains. He comes as the contestant, but behind he has no any ideological of serving, but he has other intended interests behind. Now we as the youth, it's our role to dive into and we look, is this person capable really, basing on his or her ideological
targets that is targeting to serve to the community. Then another thing it's continued learning. Is the candidate you're seconding, is he in position to run, or is a person with no idea of any dynamic? Is the person that if I'm to do this, then it's my right, I have to do, regardless of the repercussions that would come about it. So before voting as we youths, we have to consider the repercussions that may be brought in accordance with poor selection. How do we determine poor selection of leaders? We have to weigh their ideological convictions. Take an example at the level of the country and referring it to the level of the sub-counties, for example. You see, a person, the most thing that he can best do, he can't even address the community about the sanitation or the hygiene of the environment. But this person shows you that he's capable, even when himself cannot be a leader to himself. So now, to the fellow youth, before you elect the person or seconding the person, you analyze the capabilities of the person in accordance with serving. Is this person taking me in the right position, or is this person is using me for his personal gains? Then when I come to the community engagement, this I can bring it in the civic engagements. How are you engaging the peoples according to their affairs? Are you benefiting them, or you're to torment what they actually have? You should be someone that you're aiming at adding a brick on where you found others, rather than distracting what you have found.
Nicholas, at universities, you find you have very many active leaders. That's, for example, in the guild structure. And they are very active when they're at the university. And the question is, what happens after the university, the transition? And that's what I would want you to touch specifically on, how we can actually groom those young people. What is happening to make sure that they can be able to transit into national politics?
The most devastating thing is that outside the university, now we are targeting, how am I going to be a day after today? So I will make sure that I have used the small opportunity available to attain where I would ought to be tomorrow, not remain the same as the one we were today. So now the killing spirit after university, outside there is that thing, when you are to become a leader or when you are to be successful, their interest, it is more pegged with money other than actually serving. They target money other than people's interests. Remember, these people are selected to represent. They are equipped. When you select, you first analyze that this person can really serve to my expectations. But unfortunately, after you have pushed that person to that seat, that where you would think that person would be of helpful,
yes,
he instead do things in a adversarial way. Why? Because he's competing for money. Games in politics has led more harm than good.
I think that speaks to where we already even have, for example, special interest group representatives and talk of the youth MPs. The question is, before we even look at pushing to have more representation of the young people, what are those that we have elected doing in serving the interests of the young people, which you're talking about? We'll be coming to that. Chris, looking at the kind of circumstance we're in at the moment, and looking at the election season that we're in, where do we see the young people? Where do we see the youth? In which areas are they participating? And where can we say we can feel their presence in what is going on?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ivan. Really, we are seeing much of the energy of youth zeroed towards presidential candidates That's where we are seeing much participation of the young people on the campaign trails of different presidential candidates. I have not seen much with the MPs, but much of them have been on the presidential candidates. What that implies is the youth are more interested on who the overall leader of this country will be. And when I go to that to shed more light is under the civic engagement, we need to find out the ideas that these candidates have. Do they have ideas that are going to help these young people who keep running around every day, or they have destructive ideas to destroy the future of these young people? Now that is the question that every youth that is following whichever presidential candidate, wherever they go, you have to ask yourself. When you hear these people speak, do the ideas they have represent you? Do you see yourself seeing light after this season, that whatever you desire, whatever you are sacrificing for to be out there is going to be achieved? If not, then you need to go back home and search, reflect, and find out what actually you want. Majority of these young people, Mr. Ivan, have young families. They have young families, they have started families, and they are spending much of the time out there. These families need people to fend for them. But where I want to mainly concentrate on is the ideological orientation of these groups. We have a country where all of us are stakeholders. And at the end of this season, remember it is just a season which has to end. And when it ends, everyone has to go back to business. So, as we are in this season now, the question is, are these ideas, do these people have the right ideology? Do they have the correct ideas for you to get what you intend to achieve from that representation? If we are looking at presidential candidates, if this man or this lady or this goes into the big office, the apex office of the land, will your ideas be represented? Are you convinced about the manifesto that they are selling out to you? Is this a hatred season? Is this what? We must look at who is that person that is looking at a Ugandan earning a living and a peaceful environment, a Ugandan who is able to wake up in the morning to go and work, go back home safely, meet the family safely, the way he left. This is the future we all desire. A future where you have children and you are sure your children will go to school, and at the end of the day they will also be there to support you as we grow. Some people think we are going to be youth forever, that you are going to be a young person every year, you are a young person. Every 5 years that pass, you are growing. Actually, every day that passes, you are growing. Every hour that goes away, you are growing. We need to lead life with a purpose. What is your purpose? What do you intend to achieve out of this life God has given you as now a youth who is now, you are just actually seasonally youth. Time is coming.
Is that unique to only the demography of youth, or actually all Ugandans? The question of ideology, the question of interest. Our people really looking at the interest in the leaders that they are voting, or actually they are going to be voting? Are they actually having that awareness that if I'm to choose a leader, these are the things that I need to look at? Or basically, they'll vote whoever is going to give them a token.
And of course, you know, at every stage, like at this stage, we have those who are leaders now. We have those who are coming up as leaders. So we must give chance. Look at what they have done, especially those who are leaders now. Look at what they have done and what they have tabled to do right after this election. Look at those who want to be where these are. do they fit into the shoes that these have done?
Yes.
If you make an evaluation that actually this person has had a good performance, or this person has done this, and the person coming on board, it does not in any way feature around the achievements of the other. That's where now, instead of progressing, instead of adding a brick to what has already been achieved, we are going to be again starting from afresh, because these are people who they are popularists. That is number one. You are going to vote them, they don't have any agenda, so they jump on whatever comes. Me, I would think actually, Mr. Ivan, that as we are looking at the qualities of leaders, let's look at what has been achieved by these who have been leaders and what they intend to achieve in the next years. We have seen Uganda transforming from a least developed country to now a lower middle income country. If we can just transform qualitatively these gains that we have achieved, which are quantitative, that there are very many students going to school, all students are going to, all young people are going to school. Okay, now what is the quality of the teachers that they have? What are the qualities of the school? Now we are looking at transforming this quality into this quantity into quality. I think we could give chance to those who have performed to lead us into that qualitative leap, and we naturally move into the upper middle income, instead of now where we are as lower middle income at the quantitative gains that we have achieved, dismantling them again to go back to being a least developed country. And all that starts with peace.
Thank you so much, Chris. Brenda, as we come close to the polling date, what should be the interest of the young people when they are selecting the kind of leaders that we're going to have? But also, what are some of those, most important challenges that young people are facing that we should be looking at, and you think the leaders that we're going to have should be able to address? And if you can also maybe touch for us into the different manifestos for the different political parties. What is in those manifestos? Does it really serve the interest of the young people?
Thank you, Ivan. So as young people, I believe we have interests, and I speak for my behalf as a young person, but also on behalf of others. One of our biggest interest as young people is employment. Our country is one that has one of the highest unemployment levels, and especially for the young people. So as a challenge, we want leaders, or we expect to have leaders who are able to cure or to reduce some of those challenges. In terms of unemployment, many people graduate from the university. We have been having a number of graduations. Different universities have been graduating in this week and the weeks previously. So we are bringing in fresh graduates into the market, but we all know that the jobs are limited. So personally, as a youth, I'm looking for a leader who is foresighted. Yes, all of us may not be able to get white-collar jobs, but can we have leaders who can give us access to vocational trainings and vocational abilities? Because honestly speaking, all of us cannot sit at government offices, all of us cannot be employed under white-collar jobs. But how can you be able to make a living for yourself? One thing that we have currently are the presidential hubs, which are training grounds for skilling Ugandans. So if we can have more of that, whereby young people are given skills that can help them live meaningful lives, that can help them take care of themselves and of their families, then for me that is a leader that I would definitely vote for. And then secondly, as a young person, my interest is to exist in a peaceful environment. So I am looking at a leader who promotes peace. We have seen where our country has come from, and we don't want to go back to those times of instability.
Majority have actually not seen. We have had.
We have, true.
We've had where our country has come from.
We have had.
Yeah.
But personally, I think I saw,
Yes.
coming from the northern part of Uganda, when I was young, I used to witness some of the things that right now look, that have really changed. For example, when we used to go to the village, you would go in a convoy because of the consumables. But now, even if I wanted to go to the village now, I can just set off
At
and
midnight,
travel.
you will go and you'll
I'll go and I'll
certainly
come
get
back,
home.
and I know I'll not find any rebels on the way. So for me, a leader who propagates peace, a leader who is committed to ensuring that our country does not go backwards, is someone whom I would definitely tick on the ballot paper.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Nicholas, do these manifestos from different political parties speak to you as a young person? And if they don't, how would you want these manifestos to look like? What would you want included in these manifestos?
Thank you, Mr. Ivan. First and foremost, you have to table your manifesto. How? Then me as a voter, I have to see through, is this manifesto really helpful? Huh? Sometimes you find that some people's manifesto, it cannot even tell any yardstick of an hour after the campaign.
Which manifesto are you speaking about? It seems you're specific about a certain manifesto.
No, it's not that I'm specific, but we have gotten chances to listen.
Yes.
Yes. So we have gotten some kind of exposure on that. But personally, based on the person's campaigns, I will first realize that the most touching parts for the country like Uganda. Taking an example, Uganda, we are purposely running on agriculture, running on technology, running on infrastructures. Then you as a candidate, when you come convincing Nicholas or any other person, without critically elaborating and emphasizing on such touching areas, then surely your campaign does not sound to partake my interests.
Yes.
Then another thing is about the sustainability. Yes, you're yearning for powers and you're capable for leadership. How are you going to maintain and make the sustainability of that leadership? For example, if you are a leader and you're campaigning and in your manifesto you find that you're emphasizing the riots. As a leader, surely, basing on that image portrayed, I will definitely run to the point that if this person can emphasize this at the start, what could it be repercussion after that person has pursued the powers? Then another thing, it's about how you segment the people within the country. Are you tribalistic? Are you promoting the unity? There is when you find that a person, yes, we are meant to read and to act as that, but as how are you pursuing that right in the right way you're supposed to pursue it? If you take an example, when you're targeting for leadership, I think you must be entitled to follow the guidelines that should be in place to guide you as the candidate or someone targeting to achieve something. Then if you cannot abide by that as a person targeting that, then how will those behind you act when in actual sense you cannot be an example to them.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to remind you that we are streaming live on YouTube, so kindly get onto our YouTube channel, be able to rewind if you've just joined us. We are discussing meaningful participation of youth in politics to make sure that actually we can see the impact of young people in the politics of this nation. We have some feedback coming in, people sending in a number of questions. Kindly, you can be able to contribute by commenting on the videos live on YouTube, but also we are on X at U24 Television UG. Kindly reach out and send in your comments. I'll start with Brian here. Brian says he's from Kawempe and says, Chris, we always hear leaders telling youth to stay peaceful during elections, yet it's the same leaders who fund violent groups behind the scenes. How do you expect us in Kawempe to believe in peaceful participation when the system rewards violence? That is to Chris. There's a question here for Brenda. Brenda, young women are told to join politics, but society will label us as too emotional, too weak, or too domestic. Okay, how should we push back against these stereotypes? That's Daphne from Mukono. Okay, Brenda, I hope you get that question. This one says, Joel from Gulu, I want to challenge the panel. We keep talking about empowering youth, yet the biggest government opportunities and tenders still go to the same connected contenders. Still go to the same connected individuals. How do you expect young people to remain hopeful when the system feels rigged? And he concludes by saying, laugh out loud. So okay, basically I think he's looking at the different opportunities, and he's right.
Yeah,
For example, what capacity do you have as a young person to be able to bid for a tender at the district level, at the national level? Then this one again goes to Chris. Isn't it hypocritical that leaders preach against youth being used by politicians, yet youth unemployment remains high, making them easy to buy? Shouldn't economic empowerment come before lecturing us about peace? That's Alan from Entebbe.
Oh, okay.
I hope you're getting those questions. Should I let you respond first?
First let us to respond.
Let me let you respond before they become way too many.
Thank you, Mr. Ivan, and the viewers out there, Mr. Brian and Alan. Brian from Kawempe and Alan from Entebbe. You were talking about jobs and then the violence as one of the options people have. I want to refer to some of the guidance. When you see some of us who are here, it is not that we are connected to this or that, like Mr. Ivan will tell you later. It is because you try every day to make yourself relevant and better. And the president has given us the avenues of employment. We don't have to look at these government jobs only as the only option for you to survive. For example, like my sister told you, these government jobs, whereas they are good, but they are limited, and that shouldn't be your option. What is the option then? We have only 4 sectors where jobs are. We have a lot of land across this country, and you all know that people eat every day. Youth don't want to get that to feed, but they need to eat every day. What does that imply? Once you engage yourself into agriculture, which is a bit commercial, not just the peasant that you are just doing it because you need food today. We are talking about something like you have some bananas, you have some chicks, some chicken, you have what? You have things that you can sell every day to get some money. Agriculture is there for you. We have factories. The government has tried to put up industrial parks, at least in every region. These parks have employed people. If you want to witness to this, just move around as you move to Mukono. you're going to see in the evening around 5 or early at around 7, 8, you're going to see young people from coming from these factories or going to those factories to work morning and evening. We have seen the factories, the Mbale Industrial, the Namunkekera, these are all factories giving in employment. But no one is going to get you this job when you have not made an effort to look for it. No one is going to tell you that there is money here in rearing chicken when you have not taken yourself an effort to put out at least 10. You start with one. There are these local ones which even don't need you to look after them. They will chase after themselves and you get something for yourself. But what young people mainly look at like ourselves is we want to get what Chris has. You want to get it now because you think Chris is in your age group. Chris has a car, Chris has a you can't have it. It has been also a process. I've had to work for 10 years after university to be able to get some of these little things I have. They have not come overnight. So if we appreciate that we can achieve one after another, you can do something.
But to be real, Chris, from the question that he sent in, for example, looking at the tenders, if we were talking about getting people into the money economy, you're not going to do one chicken that is going to be chasing insects for it to survive. How are you going to pull that person into the money economy? His question is about getting people into the real economy. For example, about the tenders, you talk about land. If someone is going to do commercial agriculture, the question is, do these young people own land? Majority of them actually don't. Another question is, for example, if you're to get into commercial agriculture, you will need financing. Which financing? You need collateral. Can young people have that collateral?
Mr. Ivan,
yes.
You know, the problem is the moment you look at starting something and you want to start big, it is not going to happen.
But you're talking about getting people.
Now I'm looking at
you need to do things in the bigger way.
Yes, you do things a bigger way, but where have you started from? You must have a starting point. Even a journey of 1,000 miles has to start with that one step. And as you start the first step, the 1,000 will become 999.
Okay.
So if you want to just wake up overnight and you have a building of 1,000 poultry, nani, you have a farm of 100 acres, it is not virtually impossible. I myself, as an example, I started the layers. These have seen me through. They have enabled me to have a car. I started layers 150. I started them at my musee's place. Started looking after them. They expanded to 300. Time came, I reached 1,000. But you explain it to someone that you have 1,000, they will say, what would he have done? But they have not looked at this struggling stage that you start from, that everything has a starting point.
Organic growth.
That growth that takes process by process.
Okay.
So if we can accept to come into the money economy, but not in an abstract format, we start where we must start. You don't just jump up. We must start where we must start.
If you don't have land, maybe.
If you don't have land, there are people who are lazy. They give their land out. You give money at the end of a season. I have young people I was talking to the other time. They hired land in Mubende and they planted a lot of maize. Really, the ideas are there. We have these ideas. It is a matter of sharing and exchanging these ideas.
Thank you, Chris. The question of violence. You're telling young people that they should stay peaceful during elections, yet the same leaders are funding violent groups behind the scenes. How do you expect them? For example, people in Kawempe, he was specific to believe in peace and participating when the system is rewarding violence. On
that one of violence, you must know what are your interests as an individual. What do you want to see as an individual? In case, young people have a lot of energy. They are fierce. They want to test Like Brenda was saying, they have never seen who, at least for her from northern Uganda, as she was going home, she would see this. So most of the young people, our generation, we have not seen any serious destabilization. And we have seen young people causing provocations. You see someone has a gun, you push them. These are human beings who have emotions, who also get angry the way you get angry. When they tell you go here, and you say we want to pass here, and the weapon of protection you have is a stone, and they have a gun. This is psychological. This is something that you must look at a perspective that, like, the life you have now does not have a spare part. The inciters of violence might be only 5 in the whole group, but they cause over 100 people to lose their lives. So once there is violence, those of you who value your lives, those of you who value your parents, who are counting on you, please run for your life. Don't move anywhere close to violence. Otherwise, when any bullets start flying, they are not going to separate that for you were only seeing, that for you are actually a good person. No. As long as you are caught in chaos, you must pay for the consequences of being around chaos. So the violence is, these people who have the guns are also human beings. The way you get angry when they have told you don't pass here, they also get angry when you provoke them to pass.
Thank you so much, Chris. Coming to you, Brenda. You still have your question?
Yes, and my question, thank you so much for that question, by the way. She brought out the issue of stereotypes against women. And in the society that we live in, I think globally, but even nationally as Ugandans, there are certain things that you cannot do away with. Stereotypes, biases, those are opinions of people. And definitely there are stereotypes against women. For example, as she rightly put out, some people say women are not good leaders. Why? Because they are emotional. Women are not good CEOs. Why? Because they overreact when it comes to certain things. Those are stereotypes. And for me, I believe that as a young woman, regardless of those stereotypes, it is your own ability, it is you personally to defy those stereotypes. If somebody says, women are emotional, for you, what kind of woman are you? Portray yourself in that other way, such that it becomes you preach through your actions. So in the contemporary world that we live in, we cannot do away with stereotypes. There will always be preconceived notions, but it zeroes down to you. How do you stand out? If you are a leader, how approachable are you as a woman? Do you have empathy for the people that you lead? Are you compassionate? Are you kind? So your own behavior now becomes what defies those stereotypes. So I hope I have answered that. Yes, so it's just you, it is us as the women, it is us as the ladies in politics, in leadership, to defy those stereotypes by being good examples of what a perfect or a good leader should be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. This question goes to all panelists. When youth attempt to form independent political movements, they are often shut down. How then can young people in Hoima and across Uganda participate meaningfully when the space for fresh ideas is less? That's Becky from Hoima. Starting with you, Nicholas, if you can just comment on that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ivan. Reflecting on that question, I don't think youth we are restricted from participating, but the only restriction we have is the way we perceive it, the measures we put forward in acting that activity. For example, you will not say that you will continue in your leadership career when you cannot abide by the rules governing it. So everything has gotten its principles, And those principles are not there for formalities, but they are there to guide. So when we do away with the structured principles, then we are off topic.
But also to add on what he's saying, somebody who asks such a question, for you to form political parties, there are requirements. Okay. So I wish that person would say, I tried to form this party, and then at this stage I was stopped for this and this. Because sometimes as young people, we talk so much in the abstract. We talk, but many of us have not even tried to form those political parties. So by the time, let me say, the Electoral Commission comes up and says, we cannot recognize you as a political party, there are reasons. There are reasons, because how come others are able to do it? So I think as young people, we should also have that at the back of our minds, that things don't operate in a vacuum. There are terms and conditions. For you to form a political party, there are legal requirements that you're supposed to comply with. So have you complied with them? If you have fully complied with them and then still you have not been recognized, then you can bring a complaint. But some of us don't even go to that level, but we just raise dust. Yes. Yeah. Okay,
these two other questions also come to you, Brenda. Maybe you can answer them at once. That's Susan from Kalere. Says, Brenda, as a lawyer, sometimes it feels like the law in Uganda protects the powerful more than the young people. How do we ordinary youth from places like Kalere participate in politics confidently when we feel the system isn't fair to us? Then another question, Ivan from Wakiso says, Brenda, you say skilling hubs are free, but some youth in Wakiso claim you need connections or recommendations to be admitted. How can the law protect us from this kind of silent exclusion?
Okay. Thank you, Ivan. I'll start with the first person who asked, are we all, are there people who are above the law, or are there people who are below the law? In principle, in Uganda, we have the rule of law, meaning that there is no one who is above the law. However, as young people, especially in these election seasons, we can find ourselves, sometimes you're at the right place at the wrong time. You can find yourself a victim of circumstance. How then do you get yourself out of it? Just imagine you're on your own things, and then police comes, bundles up people, and the next thing you know, you're being taken to a police station. You are probably even just going to the shop to buy something, and then now all of a sudden they are saying we're going to arraign you in court. You're charged with ABCDZ. How do you protect yourself in light of that? First of all, and I'm going to say that, try as much as possible to be at the right place at the right time and with the right people. This is something that we were told in primary school, but I find that it's very applicable, especially now. Sometimes if you're seeing violence, why are you continuing in that direction? Move on the other side of the road probably. However, if you find yourself in that situation, what do you do? Personally, I'm a lawyer. I work with the Legal Aid Clinic. In Uganda, the government has come up with initiatives that help people who are caught on the other side of the law to find justice. In the Legal Aid Clinic, it's at the Law Development Center, we offer free legal services to those who deserve it. And one of the people whom we offer services to are accused persons. For example, if you find that for any reason you're in a police station or you have been brought to court and you cannot help yourself, you can get in touch with us because we offer you free legal services. So sometimes, yes, and I want to admit that you can be caught at the wrong side of the law and yet you are an innocent party. So let us take advantage of some of those avenues that are available. But then also, in the first place, if you're caught in the wrong place, try to talk about you, try to explain yourself. I feel like, yes, police have their own challenges, but if you try to explain yourself in a situation and say, you know what, probably when you're taken at the police station, I was not part of this, I was going here, and it's convincible, you try to talk yourself out of the situation in the first place. Then if that fails, then you can come in to have other measures. But basically, Ivan, there is no one above the law or below the law. The law is for all of us, and it should apply systematically to everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brenda. Chris,
Yes, ma'am.
we talk about issues of, for example, if a young person wants to start up a political movement, what they need to follow, but also on what they need to do when they are participating in the politics. When it comes to civic responsibility, but also getting Ugandans aware of their rights, how much have we done in terms of creating awareness to our population?
Thank you so much. I think government has put many avenues for this. There is a department which is called National Guidance, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. That department is under that ministry. They are also conducting a lot of civic engagements to talk about that participation, to talk about the electoral process. I think just that we are taken up by social media and many other things, and we don't pay attention to actually the things that concern us on a daily basis. Looking at the participation, youth starting political parties is number one. Okay, it would be good that there is a political party, but they are leaders. Naturally, we need to have leaders. We need to get people who can give us direction. You imagine at a point where it is we are all age mates in one place, we all want to be leaders. It is really impossible. That's why under political education we are saying that there must be 3 groups at all times. There must be those who are leaders now, the ones that we might call the receding past. We have those who are dominant, those who are there, they are majority, and we have those who are emerging. So it's like this is kind of a generation. There is a generation of elders, there is another generation around there, and there is also another generation. The moment you don't want that cycle to take place, you want the emerging to take over before they are guided by those who are going away. That is a miscalculation, and that is what happened to Libya. The young people wanted to take over from the elders without guidance from the elders. These are laws. Once these laws are not followed to their right direction, you cause a crisis. Right now you are seeing the crisis in Libya ever since the late leader was ousted out of power, the Colonel Gaddafi.
What is in Sudan?
The same story has happened to Sudan. So every time you want to have a gap in guidance, the leaders have to be guided. So when you have young people setting up a political party, who is going to guide them? They need to follow in some of these political parties which are already there with the correct ideology, ideas that are going to transform them. They need to go and learn. Government has the National Leadership Institute. There are many groups that go there. The young people should be asking, how should we should we have chance to go to those colleges and learn something from there? This prepare you. You actually think you know, and you discover that actually you know nothing. So that's why when my brother Nicholas talks about leaders who are not able to learn, learning is a continuous process. Every day our leaders or people we think are our leaders should be able to unlearn, relearn, and learn and continue that process.
Thank you so much, Chris. Nicholas, we talk about the demography of young people who are majorly on social media, and basically that's where they deliberate on different issues of their concern. How can we ensure proper utilization of social media, most especially around this time, such that we don't go into instances where, for example, social media had to be shut down because of the violence that had come out of it? How can young people fully, for example, right now use social media to create awareness in terms of holding their leaders responsible, in terms of spreading the message, what is in the manifesto of the different political parties they believe in, and the message of peace, unity, and harmony?
Well, thank you, Mr. Ivan. I think to have an effective usage of technology, before posting, you have to first analyze the post you're going to post. What will be its outcomes? Will it be of positive or it's a negative? Then also consider the source where you have extracted the picture of the idea of the post you're going to post. Sometimes the sources are also sources of misleading us at the online platforms. Take an example of the previous year with Kenya, during the Gen Z during the Gen Z riots. Even to the extent that they had already implanted that system in Uganda. Why? Following and posting without any calculation. For every step you have to make, take it in a way that is calculated in accordance to the risks that are accompanied into that post you're going to post.
Thank you so much. Brenda, the issue of social media, proper utilization of social media.
Just to add on what he was saying, as a young person or as any person, before you forward, what are you forwarding? You know, there are people forward, you forward without even sieving, without reading, and in so doing you can end up promoting things like hate speech. You can end up spreading propaganda. That is totally
someone is
wrong.
spreading hate speech and all they are saying is tap the screen, share,
and
you're also sharing,
and you're also sharing
understanding
without even understanding the genesis of where that information is coming from. And we need to also be aware that there are laws in place that check some of those behaviors. Currently we have the Computer Misuse Act, and there are people who get caught on the wrong side of the law, and when it comes to that point, you cannot say, please forgive me, I did not know, because ignorance is not a defense. Misinformation, propagating misinformation, propagating wrong information, it is a crime. And I was sharing with Chris and the facilitator today about a 20-year-old senior 6 student who was charged with, under the Computer Misuse Act, for simply spreading wrong information on TikTok. And you can also be charged with offenses like defamation if you're spreading false information about personalities. So during this campaign season, during this electoral season, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of adrenaline among the young people. Let your excitement not lead you to become a criminal or to become, to get on the wrong side of the law. Be very cautious, especially when it comes to online platforms. Even you, when you're posting, first see, what am I posting? Is it adding value, or am I propagating disunity, or am I propagating violence? Let us be ambassadors of peace, especially on the online platforms.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chris, your last remark in regards to ensuring peace, unity and harmony during this season.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan. And to our viewers, especially to the youth out there, my message is simple, this is a season. As night follows day, the season is going to end. As it ends, it shouldn't end with you, and it should start something that can elevate you and see yourself to another level.
Thank you.
When you get the leaders that this country desires.
Thank you, Chris. Nicholas, your last remark in 10 seconds.
Thank you. My last remark would be analyzing of the leaders' potential. Before you take a step to vote, first weigh that person, basing on your ideologies that you would accept from that person.
Okay. Thank you. Brenda?
Young people, let us be ambassadors of peace. A peaceful Uganda starts with you. Let us be the flag bearers when it comes to having a peaceful electoral season. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Nicholas, for the great knowledge shared tonight. And I hope as a young person out there, you've been able to learn a thing or two and continue creating the awareness to your fellows. If you missed part of this show, we have been streaming live on YouTube, so you can be able to rewind such that you watch from the beginning and you don't miss a thing. You share a lot of things, some that are meaningful, others that are don't. So please make sure that you share this video to your friends to make sure that they are also able to benefit from this knowledge shared here tonight. Coming up is U24 Cinema. Please get your popcorn, get your cup of coffee, cup of tea. For those ones who have issues with sleep, please don't take coffee. You might get problems. So get a cup of tea and enjoy U24 Cinema coming.